All right, y'all. I'm loving this conversation. We are getting deep, and I love all of y'all's input. So, 3, I'm going to go ahead and have you choose from our little jar. So, what's our question?
Okay. Let's see what we got. Do you believe you're living or surviving? If you're in survival mode, do you blame anyone or anything for this? Why or why not? And what does survival look like to you?
Deep.
Man. I would like to say that I'm not, but I am. You know, because every day is a challenge. Mm-hmm. You still can't forget the fact that you're a black man in this world, and especially for me. I tell Jay this all the time. Like when I used to work in corporate America, I was intentional with walking into those offices, like tattoos, beard, mm-hmm. and like if I get fired, I just want to make a good impression and like give the next young black man an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Like everybody ain't coming in here to ruin your business and mm-hmm. Mess it all up and stuff like that. I was very intentional with that. So just. Yeah, that survival mode, like it's an everyday thing, and I don't blame nobody for it because how we was just talking before we press on recording. Like once you understand like where our people come from, you get it mm-hmm. and you give them grace. It's just a matter of, like Kadeem said, if you figuring it out, you do have to have those conversations in the mirror. Like, okay, well, what are you gonna do about mm-hmm. it? You can sit around and blame everybody if you want to, but that's not gonna really do anything. Mm-hmm. But I forgot the third part of the question.
What does survival look like to you?
Man, honestly, coming into your home and or going out your home and making sure that you come back every day. That's survival because you never know. Once you step out that door, even when you're at home, it's dangerous.
Yeah,
you never know.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, so and it's not to be like heavy. I choose to live a positive lifestyle to say like, hey, I hope nothing's bad is going to happen today, but you have to be on your P's and Q's because everybody doesn't have the best intentions towards you. So you have to be on survival mode, especially as a black person and as a black man.
Mm-hmm. And that's deep because not only am I just looking at survival as far as how you're making yourself in this world and how you're getting along with finding your own lane, your independence, and your livelihood, but going into a whole nother realm as far as just survival in this country and what we deal with as black people and then what you guys deal with as black men. That's a whole nother thing that you have to worry about and survive through. So that's a really key thing to touch on because I feel like that is also a big part of our mental health because y'all always are living day to day looking behind you or looking in front of you and not knowing, like even for me, like I'm in my rearview mirror. But I also realized that I am a black woman, which is a little bit different than being a black man in this world where you have people that may want to cause you harm just for the sake of who you are. Tough, and you have to have that burden on top of you trying to make a living. And
no, for sure.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
The last part of the question is what survival means to me.
Yeah.
I think survival means to me is like putting your mind and body in that defense tactic to actually adjust to the obstacles that life throws us every day. That's what I think survival. That's what survival means to me. But me personally, I think I'm surviving. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm not to the point where where I want to be. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like those that live also have to survive because they have to stay at that plateau in life or whatever. So I feel like those that are living, they still have to have that survival. Like you said, y'all three. Every single day we going out of the house. Every person in the world has to go out of the house. And they have the intention of coming back. Mm-hmm. So you have to do whatever you have to do to get back home. And I just summed that all up in a nutshell. It won't take too much time.
But right now, like, why you think that you're in survival mode? Because you're not necessarily where you want to be. Do you feel like you can live where you are right now?
Oh, no. I know, like, because I know in my life, I know my life has way more meaning than what it is now. Like if I was, God forbid, to pass away today, I know I had so much more life to live.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by like I'm in survival mode. I still have to get to that point where I feel like, all right, cool, I'm comfortable. My family and everything's taken care of. I think me living would be my family and everyone taken care of. Like we don't have that stress of the world, bills, whatever the case may be, bills, food, shelter, all that things. That's when I feel like I'll be truly living.
It's the thing of like, it's just some things that'll never change.
Yeah.
You can be as rich as you want to be. You can have this type of status as you want to be. You're going to always be a black man, and you're going to always be a black woman. That's why it's like, it sounds so heavy, but it's like, that's the plain and simple survival.
It is heavy. Because, I mean, like, you can have it all.
Yeah.
And then you see the examples of people that do have it all, and they're, like, in shambles inside. So I think that's why I asked the question, because how can we make sure that we can live even though we might not be where we want to be? I know that is like a tough question, because we're deep in survival with where we're coming from, and we're like pulling us up from the bootstraps, like starting from rock bottom sometimes. But how can you find life within that chapter that you're in? Because ultimately you're always going to be striving for something more, where regardless of where you are in your goal setting. So I think that's the hardest assignment for us here on earth, is knowing that we're always going to have somewhere we're trying to get to, and there's not really a defined finish line, but like us to really figure out what does living mean for us in spite of all of those things. And I think that's the biggest thing that we have to ask ourselves while we live in every day. So what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I think that I did find myself in survival, growing up, in college, out of college, trying to figure out life on my own. And I think it's only recently that I feel like I've been living. I don't think that I'm just surviving anymore. Is my circumstances any different? No. But like, I think that, my relationship with God has really been the solid foundation that I can stand on, where whatever storm comes inside my life, I know that like my house is built on the rock, you know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, it just changes your whole mindset when like your panic doesn't like do anything but turn into praise. Like, I praise God for my scenarios that I'm in. I'm praising God for my hardships, because they have fruit that's inside of it that I just can't see in this season of my life. And so that's something that I've really been able to grow, to learn, and it's given me so much more peace, because I can't change being a black man. I can't change, not having whatever, and the things that I'm desiring is not going to change me from being a black man, like you said, or change the situation. People are always going to perceive me the way that they perceive me, but I can't always still love people regardless of how they see me, or, thank God, because even if he doesn't give me another blessing, he's given me so much now, like in my life. And so that's just been able to really be the compass that I live on to continue to go forward.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the key. I really do think that's the key. Like, regardless of who you fellowship and have faith in, I think just reminding yourself, like, there is livelihood wherever you are, and you will be provided with all of your needs in spite of what you're going through. And this morning, I actually did my own Bible study, and today's was about perseverance. And, like, just being able to key in, like, you need that perseverance to keep going, whether you're in a good time or a bad time, because we're always dealing with this roller coaster of life. And I can't say for myself, like, where I am right now, I feel like I'm in survival mode. I will say that. And I'm trying to get to a place where I'm putting my faith before everything, because I cannot panic.
Yeah.
But I have to persevere. And in order to persevere for me is to be open to my relationship and my praise, but it's also to be real with where I'm feeling and how I can maneuver those feelings, and knowing that life inside of my survival is the key to making progress to where I want to be, honestly.
yeah, definitely.
100%.